customers stored in their gateway account, and they want to make sure that those cards stay up to date so that any recurring billing or subsequent transactions they run on their customers approve or have the highest chance of approving. And so if a customer gets a new card issued to them, either a new expiration date or a new credit card number from their issuer, then we can get an update for that, get that into the merchant's gateway automatically without the customer or the merchant needing to do anything, and people can keep getting their subscriptions and everything just like they'd expect. The twist here is that Automatic Card Updater does not care what platform you're using. So you can be using any of the credit card processing platforms that we support and use Automatic Card Updater. There are no restrictions. The updating happens completely separate from the merchant's credit card processing, so they can use whatever they need to process. They can change who they're processing with throughout their gateway's lifespan. And if they do, Automatic Card Updater will continue to work. It'll continue to work just the same. And because there's no going between the processing platform and the gateway and making those sync up and everything, the setup is incredibly easy. So let me show you how that works in a merchant account who has the service active already. So let's take a look at a merchant account who's already been set up for Automatic Card Updater. So the service can update the vault and recurring subscriptions that are saved in your account. Now, if I go to list customers to see the vault, do a search for all my customers, I've only got one here. I've got Jane Doe, and her card is going to expire this month. So hopefully Account Updater is going to run and catch any changes to that card so that the new expiration date can be added, and Automatic Card Updater will automatically update that card if it gets an update for it. Typically, what would happen otherwise is the customer would come back to your merchant's website, they'd try to make a payment with the vaulted ID, and then the transaction would decline because the expiration date is out of date. And then they would have to update it in the merchant's website. The website would have to talk to the vault to make sure the card gets updated. There's just a lot of work there that you don't necessarily want to do. It's adding friction, preventing your customer from getting the thing that they're trying to buy, and we don't want that. So Automatic Card Updater should do that automatically. Even more pressing for some is recurring. So if we go to our subscriptions, we've got a subscription right here for John Smith, and they have a card on file, and they've got a recurring subscription that's going to start running, and we want to make sure that it just continues to do so. And so right now, everything's fine. You can see none of these highlights are here. And if the customer gets a new card or their expiration date updates, then this will update as well. Now you'll see we do have the ability to block cards from getting updated. So maybe the merchant's customer doesn't want to have this service. Maybe they want to make sure that their card does not get updated, that it never changes. So if they wanted to do that, they would go into the recurring. Here we go. Skip this card when using Automatic Card Updater. Just check that and save the changes. And now it's been updated successfully. So if I go to my list subscriptions again, you'll see it's highlighted in blue because we won't be checking that card. Now that's going to be probably an edge case, but if the merchant would like to prevent any cards from getting updated, they could do that. So how does this work? Let's go to the settings. If we go to the settings page, scroll down to Automatic Card Updater, we go into here, and there's not a lot here. We basically explain the service to them, and then there's two real settings you have to set here. So how often do you want cards to be checked for updates? You can do each month, each quarter, or each year, and then during each month, you can choose what day of the month is best for you. If your recurring runs on the 1st of the month, you may want to run it near the end, like the 20th or the 25th. Your merchant should know that the updates aren't in absolute real time. If you're setting this to the 25th, that means on the 25th of every month, we'll send a request out to check for updates to the card brands, but the card brands won't respond with a response for all those cards for a couple days. So it could be up to 5 days. That's on the longer end, but it's going to be a couple days until updates are seen in the merchant account. I'll also note here that there is an email that goes out to the merchant telling them that their cards were updated and gives them a summary of what cards got updates. And the other section is what cards should be checked. So you can select either Customer Vault, Recurring, one or the other, or both of them. By default, we'll check both. And then on the Vault one, you can choose only cards that have run a transaction in the past number of days. So 0 is the default. That basically means we'll check everything in your vault. But you could do something like 365. So you could say, only check for cards that I've actually run a charge on from the vault in the last year. Something like that if you wanted to not do updates for super old customers who may not be coming back or anything. But we default to 0, and that just makes sure that they get the most comprehensive updates possible. A quick note on pricing, there is a per transaction fee for Automatic Card Updater as well as a monthly fee, but the per transaction fee is not how many cards we're sending to check to see if there are updates. The merchant will only get charged for cards that actually are updated. So if we send 1 million cards for a merchant and 10 of them get updated, then they'll only pay 10 transaction fees. So keep that in mind when you're working on pricing and communicating that to merchants. From the setup side of things, all you need to do is go to your list of services, hit add, and then we have Automatic Card Updater here. You can set it to offered, active, or disabled. If you want to make it active for a merchant, go ahead and check that and make sure they also have the vault and hit submit. Now you'll see those services are marked as active, and so the merchant will get advantage of Automatic Card Updater. Now, if you've set the service to offered, then the merchant is going to see this pop up on their customer vault page. So when they go to list their customers, they'll see this little notification that they can check out the fees for Automatic Card Updater and sign up if they want. If they say no thanks, that's fine. We'll still leave a button up here for them to look at it later. And if they really don't want it, they can just say never show again and it'll hide this banner for them. But if they do want to sign up, they just hit show fees. We'll show whatever fees you've configured for them, and then they can sign up. It's that easy. They'll agree to the terms of service, and then they'll immediately be able to start taking advantage of Automatic Card Updater. And then in a couple days, the service will run for them, and they should get results very quickly to see the value of the service right away.